My name is Mike Duvall. I lived in Yorba Linda since 1969. Totally by accident. I was working for Arrowhead delivering water and got in an argument with my boss. And we had a falling out that day, and I was married at the time, and I went up to Yorba Linda Country Club to borrow some money from my then father-in-law to pay the house payment, and there was an insurance guy sitting there named Jack Wallace. And he said, "You ever been in the insurance business?" I said, "No." "Been in the water business?" "Yeah." "Okay, I used to be a bread man." So that was 38 years ago, and I started with Farmers Insurance in 1979, 1980. Well, I ended up coming out to Yorba Linda. I started out over in Placentia in the insurance business, got to Yorba Linda over, 20 years ago, and used to be on Lakeview and started getting involved with the Chamber of Commerce. Did a couple of stints as president there, got to know a lot of people and had a lot of fun with it. Eventually joined the Lions Club in Brea with my father-in-law. He was alive at the time, and got to know a lot of people over there. And was very concerned about the Imperial Highway, and I got on an organization called Safe Streets for Everybody, and we made our Imperial Highway in Yorba Linda what we call now a super street, so that we get all the traffic onto the 91 without going through our community. So that's kind of what got me involved a little bit. And then with, the development over the city over the years, including the downtown area, my office used to be over on Lakeview, on Lakeview when this was coming around, and we saw an opportunity here. This was a vacant lot here in Yorba Linda, and my partners and I, the Heinemans and the Middicks, bought the property and built this beautiful building, and trying to inspire the rest of downtown to get something going here. Well, being part of the chamber and the Safe Streets for Everyone, I kind of got to know some of the movers and shakers in town. And, I was sitting over at Chili's one afternoon with a bunch of my buddies. We used to hold court there every Friday. We were solving all the problems in the world, boy. And they said, "Dude, you've done everything else. Why don't you do that?" So it was a Friday afternoon, and it was in August. I mean, it was the next week, and you couldn't pull papers. So I went down and I pulled papers to run for city council, and I love this community. I've been, like I said, since 1969, and lived in different houses and everything, and was really concerned about some of the development in the hills. And I like to have things that are, if you've got, 5 houses per acre over here, you shouldn't have 30 right next door. If you want to have an infill project, if you got 10 over here and 7 over here, let's do 8. Let's try to be accommodating to both sides. Again, we want to keep it nice. And so I think that what's going on down here, at the end of the day, we'll see what the planning, and it's taken years and years and years, how it's going to fall out and how it's going to work. But, I work down here and I live here, and I see every day what they're doing, and it seems to me that they're actually taking care of some of the things. And I think that when it's done, I think the people are going to be happy. I wish there was a way to have everything in my head downloaded to them, because again, when I first moved here, the Yorba Linda Boulevard stopped at Fairmont. The only thing that was there was a 7-Eleven, the cleaners, and I think there was a vet there or something. I went to Valencia High School. We had no high school in Yorba Linda. Used to ride my bicycle to Valencia every day. And another thing, I wish that kids would walk to school and see the community more, where they're going to school and back, rather than getting dropped off at school and picked up by mom and dad. I mean, I know that the world's different with safety with kids, but I learned a lot by those travels of how it was. Yorba Linda Boulevard and Imperial Highway, if you were on your bus if you were going west, when you hit Yorba Linda Boulevard and you were in the back seat, there was such a big jump by the dairy and the florist, you would fly out of the chair. There was a lot of fun things that people don't get to realize. I think I was the first one that ever had a Jeep with 4 flat tires, because we snuck over from 7-Eleven and go out and go into the hills where now is East Yorba Linda. And my dad was a highway patrolman. One time I got 4 flats and didn't go stay there. So, I think they're missing some of the fun times we had here in Yorba Linda. And I think we still have that character, but I wish the young people could see and feel what I felt growing up, to know that you have that root that's stuck in the ground here.